Hey guys, welcome back to Andy's Dinosaur Reviews, and today we are going to check out something very interesting as we've got some random Chap Mei Dino Valley skeletons, and these look pretty neat, although I haven't actually seen them all that well like out of the packaging, but you can see that they are contained within T-Rex skulls, and that straight away is pretty darn cool, and you kind of have like a sneak peek there of some of the bones inside the skull itself. Here on the back, you can't really see a whole lot going on. It's kind of obscured because of the cardboard here, but it definitely looks neat, and I'm actually quite intrigued to get a look at this stuff. So we're going to go ahead, pop these cardboard pieces off of these, and check the dinosaur skeletons out, and in general, see what species we have contained within. So they are now free of their cardboard prison, and it looks like we have like a little button here, potentially, to open it. Yeah, absolutely. So that will open the mouth. You also have a little handle back here, so you can carry them if you choose to. But once you open the mouth, you now have a whole bunch of pieces here. Oh, it looks like we've got a ceratopsian of some kind in here. And you have to pull all the pieces out, and then get your, yeah, definitely a Triceratops, and get your instructions out. So let's go ahead and do all that. And then we've also got somebody hiding within the green skull, which, there we go. Oh, looks like we've got ourselves a T-Rex as well. Who wouldn't want themselves a Tyrannosaurus Rex? We'll go ahead and pop all that stuff out. First of all, I like that they add these little slips in. Conveniently, though, we have the Papo T-Rex on this one, but you can see that we have the little slips contained within, again, saying Tyrannosaurus. And you also have kind of like a little area over here that looks like there's a code, potentially. And then this one, we have the Triceratops. Again, nice image there of a Triceratops. And you actually also have, I think it looks like a sticker. Yeah, it definitely looks like a sticker for the title of the dinosaur, so you can include that. Even the dinosaur itself is actually a sticker, it looks like. And then you have instructions here, so that it can show you, of course, how to build it, but you also can see what other species they have out as far as these skeletons go. We have a Spinosaurus, a T-Rex, a Mosasaurus, a Velociraptor, and a Stegosaurus, and then, of course, the Triceratops, which is the one we are taking a look at currently. I would really like to find some of these others, like the Mosasaurus and Spinosaurus for sure. Would be very intrigued to acquire those. And then, once you open it up, oh, we missed it. There we go. We now have all the pieces here and everything showing us how they all go together and then basically what it looks like once it's finished. So I'm going to go ahead and build these really quick and we'll take a look at them from there. So here are our skeletons now put together, and they actually do look pretty neat for what they are. Like, they're really small skeletons. They do have a really cool appearance to them, and definitely something that I think kids and adult collectors alike could really enjoy and definitely have some fun building and then, of course, displaying in their collections. And the final product does look really neat, and actually having, again, the Rex and Triceratops here, it really makes me want to get hold of some of the others, especially that Spinosaurus. Like, I really want that Spino. But right now, we're going to go ahead and jump to a closer look at both of these, so let's check them out. So first of all, we've got our Triceratops, and again, you can see once you get nice and close that the detail, as far as like fine detail, it's not all that great. You can't see a whole lot of fine detail on them, but that's not something I expected going into this, so it's not all that surprising to me that the fine detail wouldn't be extremely obvious or all that well done. What we basically have is the basic gist of what you would have for a Triceratops skeleton, and in a really cool model-like form. And again, I think that they did a good job, of course, as far as the overall appearance goes, as well as I think the tones of color that they've chosen for these models work really good as well with this nice light brown. I think it looks really, really good on the models again. And, you could probably do a little bit of a better job on these than I did, because I still have, like, some of the pieces of plastic and stuff hanging off, and some areas where I've kind of, like, pulled off probably a little too much plastic on mine. If you take a little bit more care, a little bit more time, you could probably do a better job than what I did here. But one thing that I really love about these, first of all, is the fact that there's a little bit of articulation. So you can see we can move the head of the Triceratops up and down, and that's definitely neat. You can also kind of turn the head, because you've got like a ball joint in there, so you can sort of swivel it and stuff. No articulated jaw or anything like that, but the fact that you can kind of, maneuver the head around to display it however you would like is definitely fun. But what I also like is the fact that we have this little stand, this little base with it, and that is really cool because it helps the stability of the model so much. Like, my area here, like the hip section and the spinal column here, where it connects, it was a little bit loose, but as soon as I connected it to the base, everything just popped together so nicely, and you can see it's really stable, like that's not coming off of there. And there's little pegs on the undersides of the feet to make sure that it stays on the base pretty much perfectly. And then of course you use that nameplate for the Triceratops there to display the species name, again, right there in front of the model. So even though it's not super highly detailed, and again, like I said, it's not what I expected, it's really cool. It actually is a really neat, very small skeleton of a Triceratops. And again, the same can be said for the T-Rex. Like, it looks really, really cool. Of course, again, it's definitely not your most impressive T-Rex skeleton or highest quality T-Rex skeleton you're ever going to see. But is it a really neat little kind of, model, I guess you could say. Maybe you can call it like a puzzle where you kind of put it together. But it's basically just a really cool skeletal reconstruction of a T-Rex. And everything looks really neat on it. I love the nice curve to the tail, the bend in the tail. I like the kind of walking position that they've given the T-Rex here as it moves along. And just like with the Triceratops, you can move the head around. You can put the head up, you can push it down, you can turn it. So the Rex now has its head turned to the left. Again, you can see the areas of plastic where it just kind of pulled it off, because I'm not a patient man and apparently didn't do a great job of building it, but I'm kind of regretting it now, because actually the final product again looks really cool, and I wish I would have taken a little bit more care to it. And of course, you could always pull these out and repaint them if you'd really like. So if you're like me and you kind of like pull off some of the plastic a little bit like that, you can always repaint it to give it a much better look. And I think that as well could look really neat, would be some of these repainted to look a little bit more realistic. Just like with the Triceratops, we again have the little base here, kind of has like a nice earthy type of an area. Honestly, it reminds me of like a museum type setting with, again, the species name right there, and then the pegs going into the base so that it stays on there really stable. And just like with the Triceratops, you can see that is not going to come off of there, and of course helps with the balance and stabilization of the model. So these are, again, super, super cool. So much cooler than I actually expected them to be. I definitely need to search out some more of these and maybe get the whole set. Who knows? I would like to, but we'll have to start checking some Family Dollars and see if I can locate some more of these, because this Rex and the Triceratops are actually really fun. Now, another thing that's pretty fun about these, on top of everything I've shown you, is that inside of the skulls there were actually little clips. So you saw there was like a little handle on the skulls that contained these skeletons, and you can go ahead and apply a little clip to them as well if that's something you would choose to do. But as far as a size goes for these, you can obviously tell they're very small, almost like mini skeletons. For a length, you were looking at about 4 inches or 10 centimeters on the Triceratops. Height-wise, about 2 inches or 5 centimeters. And then for the Rex, obviously a little longer than our Triceratops. Lengthwise, you're looking at about 5.5 inches or around 14 centimeters. And then height-wise, a little over 2, maybe approaching 2.25, but not quite there, or around 5.5 centimeters. For a size comparison, there is Mr. Papo T-Rex, the Attack Pack Colovosaurus, and Robert Muldoon from the Mattel Jurassic World toy line next to our really cool Chap Mei dino skeletons here. And I feel like these figures were perfect ones to bring in to kind of give you an idea of the size and show you the fact that they are, again, really, really small and very impressive, I think, because of how small they are. But for another comparison, here are a few randoms, as we have a Collect Day Dimetrodon, a Schleich Diabloceratops, and Safari Ltd's Tyrannus next to our Chap Mei dino skeletons. And I'm trying to think of a figure that would go with these really nicely size-wise, because I feel like these would be beautiful to display with a model if I had a Rex or Triceratops that was a similar size. I just think they would look incredibly cool together, but I'm kind of drawing a blank when it comes to this exact size range. It's fairly small, but not super small. For another comparison, I think to help further show you that, we have a Jurassic World minifigure, Baryonyx, as well as the, again, Jurassic World minifigure from Toy Monster International, the Captives version of the Dimetrodon. So you can again see that the minifigures here are just a little bit too small to size up nicely with these skeletons. So I'm kind of, again, having a hard time figuring out exactly what figure would look cool next to them. But if you could find a Rex and Triceratops that was a similar size to these, man, they would look awesome together in a display. And because this is a Chap Mei review, why would we not bring in some Chap Mei for a comparison? So we have potentially my favorite Chap Mei figure of all time, as we've got the Dimetrodon here next to our Dino skeletons, showing you yet again that they are quite small. And then for a final comparison, because he's one of the most popular Chap Mei figures of all time, we've got their large T-Rex next to the skeletons. Again, just to kind of show you that one last comparison in case this is a figure you might have. So these Chap Mei Dino Valley Dinosaur skeletons are really fun. Again, so much cooler than I expected them to be, and even though they're not insanely highly detailed, and they're not the most highest quality skeletal reconstruction you're ever going to see, they're really fun for what they are. I actually had a blast putting them together. They were really easy to put together, which is not something you often find when it comes to skeletal reconstructions. And the final product has a really nice display to it. Like, I love the additions of the bases. I love the fact that we have pegs to kind of put them down into the bases and keep them nice and still. And again, really sturdy. They're very lightweight, which makes them very easy to display. And they're also really small, which also helps to make them very easy to display because they're not going to take up too much room in your collection. And on top of that, they're pretty cheap. I think they were around like $5, maybe something like that. I forget exactly. It's been a little while since I've had them here, but they're really quite cheap, and I would definitely say worth the price of admission for something so cool. And I like the fact that we have that little bit of articulation in the neck just to give you that last little bit of display options for the models. So if these are something that you are interested in, I would recommend checking out your local Family Dollar because that seems to be the place that I most frequently see them. Again, you could also check stores like Big Lots and stuff like that, and actually Dollar General because they as well stock Chap Mei products, but I've mostly seen these at Family Dollar. So if you have a Family Dollar, again, make sure you head on over there, check it out, see if you can find some of these. I know I'll definitely be doing that, and hopefully I'll find a few of the other ones that I do not have, and make sure you also like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next review. Thanks for watching.